guys, welcome to another video. This time I'm going to show you a little bit of industrial and I'm going to build a 9 input output furnace system. 3 inputs, 3 outputs, back to a box. Yeah, pretty much that is it. So bear with me as I get some more items. Okay, so we've got 9 furnaces, they've got 9 storage adapters on. It's all pretty self-explanatory how that works. Let's connect this power up. Okay, so in this sense I'm not using a branch I would normally would to branch power off. I need splitters. So we've got 3 sets of furnaces, so we need a splitter for each plus 1 to power each splitter. So I'm going to put these quite high because we've got other stuff we need to put in for industrial side of it. May as well flip that upside down, why not? I thought that would hook, but nope. Anyway, that up there. So I do need a branch because we have adapters to put on. So not adapters, conveyors. So the first one's going to power going to the first splitter. I forgot to put it upside down. Each one of these is going to be connected to a different splitter. If I can get moving on here, not so easy sometimes. So the other thing you might want on here is a switch, just so you can turn it off and on. Let's get each one of these connected. I never really bother too much about how it looks because half the time you're never going to look inside anyway. That connected. So each one of these takes 3, I think it is. They should be in here. They take 3 power. 9. So we output 9. You see they are not on. Of course, because it's actually times that by 3. That would help. 27. And they're all on now. Okay, so they are all on. We could add a switch in here, so we can have the ability to turn off and on. All on, all off. Okay. So the industrial part. You always need a conveyor at the start, conveyor at the end. So let's get a couple of those. We're definitely going to need a splitter and a combiner. We need a couple of boxes of whatever we're using. So let's go to, where are they? Large weight boxes, there they are. A couple of those. And we've already got storage adapter. So those set up, so this will be our input box. And this can be our output box. Just set up however you want. Put one there, and on top for this one. here, which is our input, and one here, which is our output. And I've just realised I can put that further back to make it easier to connect with the pipes. Let's do that. Okay, so they need power as well. They run on, I think it's free power as well. Let's just double check. 1 power, okay, even better. So literally this 2 should work it fine. Let's do this. Okay, they're both on. Let's connect up the pipes. So the output of this goes into the input of this. And just so you know, you can also change the colours on this. I usually tend to use red in, yellow out. Maybe just me, I have no idea. So we need to connect this to our industrial splitter because we're splitting into 3 lots of ovens. So let's put this up here. And we'll move this around. Let's just restart that. And we want to go about here maybe. Further up actually. Sometimes it's better to build all this in first before you get started. I'm just going to get this one here. So each one of these has to go to the first oven, which I'm sure it'll let us do. It's just a bit awkward to get into sometimes. Okay. Wrong one. Okay, so I like using yellow as my output. Everybody, as I say, is different. So we daisy chain the 3 ovens. Okay, so our output from this one then goes over here to this one. And then this output goes into our box. Okay, so we're now ready to try this out. Almost. Next thing you want to do is put your filters on. So we hold R, going to change filters. I just usually type in ore. And then we find gunmetal, sulfur and high coal, because that's all we get. You can also add in honeycomb, believe it or not, because that is also perhaps if I spell it right, that turns into jam in the oven. Not jam, honey. Okay, and then we do the same here. We configure, so we do sulfur, metal frag, high coal, metal frags there, and honey also. Don't know if you knew that one. Anyway, right, we can turn those on. We're not going to do anything until stuff is received in the box. Okay, so that's pretty much ready to go. We can get a way to turn these on, but we'll leave that just now. What we want to do is we need some sources. So let's just get a little bit of everything. 1k of that. Not 1k please. Or a couple. So it's a modded server, Rusty Relax, so what that means is we can change stack sizes. I don't know what the default is. It's also higher than that. Okay, it's way higher than all of those. So if you're ready to go, you can literally just turn that on. We can chuck in some of this. Let's use sulfur because it's quick. Now what this does is it feeds it into the ovens, but we don't have it set to anything. So what tends to happen, all 900 is going into that first oven, which is what we don't want. Let's take that out. This is where our first setting comes in on the item list, so we can put a maximum in. How much do we want maximum in each oven? So we just do 50 because that's pretty speedy for each. It will only take in 50 of that specific item. The buffer, that basically just means it won't feed it until there's at least whatever amount that you've set it to. So if you've got, I don't know, let's just say you've got this set to 1000, it won't start until you have 1000 sitting in your input box before it goes into the actual furnaces. And the minimum, again, I think that's kind of the minimum. The buffer's slightly different. Yes, it will only start transferring when this amount is in the container, and the transfers that amount exactly. And this one is only transfer if the amount of the item is in the input container. So anyway, we apply that. We'll put this back in, and what you'll see what happens. So this was 900 originally. It only has 50 put in at a time, thus moving 50 to all of them instead of doing all of it. So you can change those maximum minimums however you want. And this one is set to nothing. It'll just pull whatever it's got. So just to show you the honeycomb as well, actually. Give me like, I don't even know how much we can stack. It looks like 1Ks, yeah. We can chuck that in. It might feed it into the second slot. So only feed 50 of that in one slot and 50 of this in the other slot. And there you go. We have honey coming out. For those who are wondering, we have a stack box in plugin, but what you can do if you were just using the normal kind of generic settings or normal Rust vanilla settings, I've got another box. Don't know why, but I always lose these, and I know it's somewhere close, and I know it's in alphabetical as well. You can do this. Should have another one there. Connect that on. Use our wee pipe tool. This is just like an extra box, if you will. Let's just use purple, because why not? It's there. And what will happen is it will start feeding. Once this is full, it will start feeding into here. Just like that. And that is the basic setup for the containers. Please, like, if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments. I'm more than happy to help out. Also, the Rustrition workshop and Rustricity IO is a great place to start for basic circuits like this. Yeah, I mean, people can argue about how many industrial conveyors you need. What happens is the server is set to a certain amount, so I can show you that on my admin panel under convers. So convers is what controls what happens in the game. Let's put in con. Okay. conveyors or conveyor move frequency 5. How often the industrial conveyors attempt to move, but then we also have the amount as well, which is, I think it's industrial, helps if I can spell, my spelling is so bad. So the frequencies there, every 5 ticks. When enabled, industrial transfers will abort if they, doesn't tell me much. That's if, basically that's if it doesn't pull anything, it aborts the system. Max stack size, here we go. So ours is set to 12. So if you have a box and you connect up 3 lots of conveyors, it's going to move 36. If you have 2, it's going to move 24 out of that box and feed it in. This is where it becomes complex. I would start off with this kind of design, play with it. Some people put conveyors after the splitters or before the combiners. Does it make any difference? Not really, to be honest. The ovens are going to be empty anyway. Well, that's because it's done with that. Let's just chuck in like this. Let's just chuck it all in. We'll see what happens. They're all set to 50, I think. Did we set the honeycomb? Yes, we did. So it's only going to allow 50 whatever to go in. And it goes by whatever items are first in the box. So it's going to go through these 2 first, then it'll go through these 2. When this is done, it'll move on to the honeycomb. When that's done, it'll move on to there, so forth. So it goes by order. I don't think there's much more to explain on this other than, like I say, each server's got its own, like, well, the vanilla is 12, and I'm pretty sure we've got a plugin that can change that. I mean, we could change it through converse, but it's not so easy. Actually, let's just go to my permissions, that'd be easier. I'm sure it's something like industrial stacks or something like that. Maybe not. Maybe don't have it anymore, but I did have one where basically you could click on it and it would be like, you can move 100 or you can move 200 or, you know, 1,000 or whatever you wanted. Don't see it now. I would have told you what plugin it was, but if you sort, there we go, that's it there. So conveyor stacks it's called. So I've currently got it set to 10,000 at a time, which is massive. Our default player's got 500 to make it a bit faster for them. Yeah, so it's pretty massive on that side of things. And then you also see how quickly it moves, so that can pull it up to, in my case, it can pull up to 10,000 at a time, providing there's space. So if I was to move this up, it would be able to pull, you know, 10,000 of any of these at one time. Yeah, we also have an R plugin that is slowly coming in, but we have one that can add storage adapters to different items. Obviously, ovens is default, but just to let you have a look at that, it's quite cool. So I don't think we can do it to these as such in game, but we can do it. Oh wow, these click into place as well. Interesting. If I do that and then do electrical conveyor, you'll see it comes up with this little image. Click on it, we placed a storage adapter, and this fully works. So with that plugin, we can use a hopper and collect the horse poop, if you will, and it will collect it and suck it in and put it straight into there. And you can use an industrial system to take it out to a box where you're going to, you know, put it on your plants to keep them alive. Yeah, any questions, feel free to ask out in Discord. Rusty Relax has a Discord as well as Rustricity Workshop. You'll find me in there, Scottish Goliath, and you know, happy electricity, and keep on going. There'll be more and more stuff coming in. Take care, bye.